Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks, etc., etc., etc. Welcome. Glad to have you here. It's it's one of those days. I mean, obviously, there's a myriad of things, but the biggest breaking news, of course, chat room is the drawing that heard round the world. Donnie the Diddler, the Doodle Diddler, the Diddling Doodler. What do we call him? What will get me past the Twitch? I went back and forth. I got to say, I changed the title of the show a couple of times in the setup because if I send it on Facebook, probably wouldn't be a problem. If I send it out on YouTube, probably wouldn't be a problem. If I put it out on Twitch, probably shut me down because of probably the word diddler, even though it's totally appropriate for this asshole. But the House Democrats released the drawing, ladies and gentlemen. There must be more to life than voiceover. There must be more to life than having everything. Donald. Yes, there is. But I won't tell you what it is. And don't, some people say I don't know. They say he doesn't know what it is. I don't say it not because I don't know what I'm saying, but because, trust me, it's a secret. It's a beautiful secret. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. We certainly have a lot of things in common. Jeffrey. I almost said Jeffrey as in Virginia, as in used to work for me and you stole her, you took her away. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Enigmas, and I think I'm using this word right, I might not, who knows. Never age, have you noticed that? Of course, I wrote this a long time ago before my nut really started to explode and my ankles looked like cantaloupes and there was a smell coming from parts of my skin that I just can't get rid of. And not to mention, you're wink wink dead, so I guess age doesn't matter if you... So, I kid, we both know you're alive, and set up until this all blows over. As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you, and I have the videos and the Polaroids to proving it. Yes. A pal, and I have to say this because I don't really have any friends. I just have pals. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday! And may every day be another wonderful 6-year-old. I almost said 14-year-old. You almost got me, but I stopped myself and I didn't say it. People hate it. You can ruin your political career if you say, I want to sleep with my daughter who's 13. But somehow I went right by it. Yes, you did. And thank you for the drawing, master. Donald J. Scribbles. So that's the actual one. Yes, Peter Lorre as Jeffrey Epstein. So that's the drawing that does not exist. That's the actual one released today by the House Democrats. And I gotta say, the drawing is just as shitty as you might imagine, and ever so slightly flat-chested for something that Trump would do, which makes it even fucking freakier. Because of considering who it was written to, like he didn't draw a picture of someone with big boobs. You know what I mean? Like he knows what Jeffrey likes. Yeah. It's also a Sharpie thing. This is the kind of women he thinks he deserves. He draws them as Sharpie. The women I've slept with, not great, but if you draw some parts on them, it's fine. So yeah, this is it. And I suppose this asshole owes the Wall Street Journal $10 billion. I mean, one thing, I think, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, I think if you threaten a newspaper or something over a detail you say is false, and then they prove that it ain't, they should automatically get whatever you sued them for. Yeah, it was $10 billion, right? If you're going to say it doesn't exist and you never wrote it and it's not yours and all that kind of shit, and not only that they egregiously did this on purpose, that they falsified, they never saw it, they made it up. This was not a good faith, they weren't shown a forgery and then fell for it, right? You'd have to prove, that's why, by the way, that suit is dead in the water anyways, is that you'd have to prove they saw a forgery if you say it didn't happen, and you have to prove that they knew it was a forgery and went ahead anyways, which is just fucking stupid. And you know how I know it's stupid? You know how I know it's stupid besides the people involved? The reason I know it's stupid is because, basically because J.D. Vance met with Rupert Murdoch in the fucking woods to discuss his future. And the next day he was like, release the Epstein files. And then it was like, no, shut up, asshole. So, there it is. That's the thing. Came out today. Enigmas is an anagram for what? For the word gamines, which is from the French, which means young, means young waifs or children. Ew. Turned out on the streets by life's cruelties. Oh God. Gamines, I suppose. Yes, and E. Jean Carroll won her appeal again, or beat his appeal, I would say. She didn't make an appeal. She already won. So that's kind of fun. And I look forward to, and I don't know, and CSL, I don't know if this is probably a tomorrow thing, but I imagine we will keep an eye out for the reaction, if there is any at all, from the people in the Trump protection racket, who have been like, okay, guys, come here, Charlie Kirk. Don't open your mouth. We're not ready for that part of the evening yet. Charlie, Glenn, Stu, everybody at the Blase except Liz Wheeler, get that bitch out of here. And everybody at Turning Points USA, Ben Shapiro, all you guys, come here. All you people who are, your job is to run interference for Trump. Here's your assignment. See this drawing? Tomorrow you have to all say it's fake. I know, you're looking at it and you're like, it looks real. And yes, it will turn out to be real, but that's none of your fucking business. You have to go out and pretend that this is bullshit. You have to go out there and all that authenticity you've been showing online, all that populist realism that you've been blathering out on everybody all this time to get credibility with MAGA and the America First crowd, all that. Remember that? Okay, you get to put that in a fucking chipper shredder tomorrow along with your balls. And tell everybody that this drawing is not Trump's, clearly. And we were going to give you guys a Trump doesn't draw storyline to run with, or put a quote out there that you can go with and that would give you some cover. We're not going to do that this time. Now you're on your own. You just have to look at it and make up your own bullshit. And why aren't you clapping? Why isn't everybody clapping? This is your game. There you go. Okay, everybody clap. Thank you. Yes. And don't forget your Kool-Aid shot on the way out the door. So this is, this is some gnarly shit. And it's, I gotta say, like you couldn't see this shit coming? Like you guys, they haven't learned yet? For real? Like the maggots have not figured out if he calls it a hoax, it's fucking real. And now, you know how there's this whole thing like in retrospect, knowing what I know now, I don't believe anything in the past, right? That whole idea of like, they must have lied to me about JFK because I don't trust the government and everything. Interestingly enough, you don't think that at one point in the very near future, it's going to come out that this drawing is fucking real, and of course he drew it, and of course he was a part of the Epstein thing, and there was no hoax, and he's all throughout it, and it's all real, and it's all verifiable. Do you think they're going to go back and go, hey, all the other shit he called a hoax is probably real too? Real bad. I'm excited. It's going to be a good time. Anyways, hit that like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. Now, in related news, if I may, And yes, and by the way, maggots, whenever you want to wake up, we got a song for you.
This is some bullshit.
Because it is.
We see through it.
How can I just say, like, all these motherfuckers that are like, I'm starting to realize, like, Joe Rogan and all these guys, like, man, they're good at this. Like, they're good at pulling the wool over people's eyes. No, you know what? Maybe they're not. Can I just run that by? Maybe, just maybe, and this goes out to our dear friends in the news media who say Trump is a master manipulator or he's great with propaganda. Maybe, I'm going to run this by you. I'm going to lay it out there. I want you to embrace it for a second. If you reject it like a baboon's kidney, I get it. Put it over there, But for the moment, just entertain the thought for a second that he's not that great at it. Maybe you fucking suck. Maybe you're a gullible asshole. Maybe you lined up to believe this bullshit. Maybe he's not actually very good at it because the rest of us were like, I don't know what you do. That sounds like bullshit to me about this motherfucker for decades. The rest of us, it wasn't work. Like, I would be with you if I was like, God damn, that was kind of a, like the way he was on The Apprentice and he just zipped out facts and figures and, and it, like he can quote large passages of his book or whatever. Like, if that had happened, right? And the rest of us were like, God damn, dude is a fucking machine. That's crazy. Like, I had no idea he was so full of shit. We knew. It was a joke. Jesus. Okay. There's an episode of fucking Criminal Intent. You guys know I love me some Vincent D'Onofrio. And Catherine Irby. And he's reading some piece of evidence. I gotta fucking find this episode. He's reading this thing and he goes, the guy's got a letter in here from Donald Trump. And he misspells corporation, or it was like he misspells opportunity. It was like whatever. He's reading the note in the files of from Donald Trump, and this is before he ran for office or any of that shit. So this isn't even political dunking. There's a scene in fucking Scrooged, where Bill Murray is in the it's Ghost of Christmas Future, puts him in the sewers in New York, and that's where he finds Marvin or whatever, the dead homeless guy, that he was like trying to wake up and he's frozen to death, right? And he gets really sad. He sees all the sad things that are coming, and he's like, Jesus Christ, where am I? Trump Tower? Like, he's been a fucking joke forever. And it like relatively early on, you knew he was skeevy at the very least. You knew he wasn't a Christian. Of course not. Don't be fucking stupid. And now you know he's a rapist because he's an unrepentant rapist. The motherfucker went in front of a group of religious fanatics this morning to talk about anti-Christian bias. Something I don't even think he knows what the fucking phrase means. And then he says this bullshit about domestic violence. And I played this morning when Tara was on, just so you could hear this shit. It's crazy. I don't know if you guys have heard this. Let's listen to this real quick.
Down 87, there's no crime. They said crime's down 87%. I said, no, it's more than 87%. Virtually nothing. And much lesser things that take place in the home they call crime. They'll do anything they can to find something. If a man has a little fight with the wife, they say this was a crime, see? So now I can't claim 100%. Okay.
What he's talking about there is that most simple assault happens in domestic violence situations. Whenever anybody talks about, simple assault is down or simple assault is up because of policing, it's all street crime. It's all fucking street crime because if somebody's going to beat their fucking wife or a wife is going to beat her fucking husband, she doesn't give a shit if there's a National Guard member standing 2 blocks away. They're in their house. Yeah, the wife. Yeah, believe me, the language is all rife with misogyny and fucking terribleness. Yeah, absolutely. But that never goes away. Like, you have to do, like, anti-domestic violence PSAs and conversations and go into schools and have counselors working with kids who are victims of domestic violence so that you work your way up to the fucking parents, if you even can, to make a dent in those kind of numbers. And this motherfucker is like, well, they think there's all this crime because a wife and a husband they have a little fight. The only reason the cops are called is if somebody thinks somebody's gonna die. For real, a neighbor, one of the people in the argument, the fight, the abuse, a family member. Fucking hell. Hit that like, share the show if you would. Let people know we're here. I greatly appreciate it. And then, god damn. And I think, good Lord. God damn. I have to, I gotta say, one of the weirdest things about Shitter, when I bring up, one of these clips that's posted on there, is all the people asking Grok to explain what's going on. I'll show you. Look at this real quick. I'm gonna show you. Grok, what exactly does he mean by this? And then it's like explains exactly what's going on, which is he's suggesting minor domestic disputes like a little fight between spouses can be classified as crimes to skew numbers. Critics interpret this as downplaying domestic violence, while supporters see it as highlighting overreach in reporting. The full speech was at a recent event. And again, while supporters see it as highlighting overreach in reporting, nobody reports little fights. For real. Like, if there's not assault involved, that's not going to skew your numbers. As a matter of fact, domestic violence is underreported. Period. It's also, by the way, such a dangerous situation that domestic violence calls are the single most dangerous thing that cops experience on the regular. Is breaking up a couple and getting stabbed by the one being abused, or being, or a gun being whipped out, or, a killing in a standoff, or a murder-suicide, and being in the middle of it. Cops face more danger dealing with domestic abuse and domestic assault than any other circumstance, second only to traffic stops. That's the next one. Randos whipping out a gun and firing out the window or running them over. This is where cops get harmed the most. Yeah. So the idea that, like, it's not just that he's downplaying domestic violence, but it's also he's downplaying the fact that cops are in danger every fucking day they go to these calls. He's pissing on cops at the same time. It's a little fight between people. I don't know what the fucking big deal is. It's how most cops end up in body bags or with life-threatening injuries. Jesus, what a fucking loser. So, and then of course, as they come out with this stuff, here's this is curious as well. Let's get to this stuff real quick, because this is Liz Wheeler is one of the maggot influencers that was handed a binder full of bullshit to parade around to basically, chuck any credibility she had with her crowd, into a sausage press, and watch it, ground down to nothing. And this is the Trump versus Epstein victims promise client list, because they've said they've got their own list and they're going to put it together with their lawyer.
The House Oversight Committee yesterday, it was actually Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna posted a...
Anna Paulina Luna is the thing to say when to make the Epstein stuff go away. Ha cha cha. Sorry. I'm fine.
A link, a URL on her X account.
Whiz dealer. Don't call her that. That's so rude.
She said, here are some more Epstein files. I think it was 33,000 pages that was given to House oversight by the Department of Justice were uploaded to a Google Drive.
Shall we? Let's all dive in. Let's see. Google, the Google Drive, Epstein files, new, something like that. Okay. Show more. Congress continued to push for more information. Let's see. Many of the Epstein files are just released. Oversight Committee releases Epstein files. Epstein-related documents can be found here. There it is. I don't switch. This is the production thing. Here they are. This is the so very exciting. DOJ Epstein files. Production 1, 2025, 08, 22. That's a folder. Let's open that folder. Images. Image 1. Ew. These are all, okay. Ghislaine, okay, so this is, you fuckers. You absolute pieces of shit. They loaded scanned images of her case, the documents around her case, individual scanned images instead of PDFs, so that every single one of them is where is it? Yeah. So that all of these are TIFF files. Motherfuckers. Hold on. Back up here. This is this business. Images. Yeah. Yeah. These assholes. Literally everything they can do to slow down the process. So you can't go through it as one document. Is that what they're trying to do? Unless, let's see. Well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's go back to, that's images. Natives. Okay, these are the native 6. DOJ MP4. What? Oh, this is the... Oh, the inside of the house. Or something. File footage of them walking around. Again, just distracting bullshit. Yeah, oh, and this is the shit, by the way, that they filmed but didn't take. Like, this is almost like rubbing it in people's fucking faces. They came in and they were able to film all this shit. And... yeah, as they went through it, like this, again, it's so fucking nothing. Like, what are you gonna do? Sell the fucking house? And then even this, like, look at the creepy paintings. They're like, he's a fucking pedophile. What do you think it's gonna look like? What a fucking distraction. Right? How is this not, how do the Liz Wheelers of the world not just fucking embarrassed that, they released an hour of video. What is it? It's walkthrough video of the property where it has, you can see the pictures that he hung in frames on the wall, the books he had. Here's a weird painting of some woman, or a drawing of some woman's nails. Here's his toilet. There's a shredder. Like, what the fuck? Like, what kind of a douchebag? Fucking video cassettes, him in the pilot seat with, or Ghislaine flying. Again, the names of, like, shit, books on his fucking bookshelf. How about, here's a good idea. See that computer? How about whatever's on that fucking hard drive? That it doesn't have a naked child in it. How about that? This is fucking gross. This is so fucking lame. Let's go back up to this one. Here's a native what? What's this? Okay. Okay, this is the hour by hour of the fucking jail cell footage, and the very last one has the extra minute with the fucking sketchy dude in it. Oh, that's the audio. Jesus Christ. I don't hear anything from it. So, hold on one second. Anyways, you guys get the point. Like, there's 33,000 already released shit, most of which, by the way, was in that binder she got, except for the plane tracking data for his plane when it was flying around the Bahamas or wherever it was parked while it was being tested or repaired. God damn, it's so fucking weak.
Sheet by sheet, not a searchable PDF, but one page at a time.
Oh, look at that. She's pissed just like I am. That's hilarious. That's fucking hilarious. Good for you, Liz. I mean, I could say that because I'm not a gullible asshole who thought they would be helpful. You somehow thought so. Listen to that. Like, right when okay.
Pages that was given to House oversight by the Department of Justice were uploaded to a Google Drive, sheet by sheet, not a searchable PDF, but one page at a time, one page per file, was uploaded to Google Drive and was released for the public. Now, what's in those documents, that's what we're going to talk about right now, the biggest takeaways. But before we get to that, there was a press conference that was held this morning. This was held by Congressman Thomas Massie in the lead up, or kind of in the midst of his discharge petition that would bring to a vote on the floor of the House a piece of legislation.
I gotta say, discharge petition sounds like something Ronnie Jackson wrote about Trump's dribbly dick. I'm just saying. He needed he's fine, he'll be all right, but he had a discharge petition, and we're gonna need a cork. Very small cork.
That would force the Department of Justice to release the Epstein files, something President Trump is against, but Thomas Massie says is important. A lot of drama involved here. A press conference was held this morning by Thomas Massie. He brought with him victims of Jeffrey Epstein, women who claimed that they were sexually abused by Jeffrey Epstein. And a couple of these victims, a couple of these women made claims during this press conference that I want to address before we even get to the contents of the 33,000 pages of Epstein files that were released by the House Oversight Committee. To start with, there was a Epstein victim who said that the names of others who victimized women alongside of Jeffrey Epstein, the names are known. Essentially, there is a list because the names are known, but this list has been hidden from the public by lawmakers. Take a look.
But what I'm most excited.
Whoops.
He's not an Epstein victim.
No, that's the anti-vax guy, I think, that you guys were touting or whatever.
We'll bring
isn't
up the correct video here in a second. This is the woman in the sunglasses.
The deep state stopping her from doing stuff. Like they knew that the minute she put a black man on camera on her channel, everybody would hang up. Everybody was watching would go like, oh God, oh, I can't. It's bad enough we're talking about a Jew. You had a black guy on the screen. I'm out. They're doing anything to make people avoid this topic.
Who says that the names are known to the government and that it's lawmakers who have stood in the way of releasing these names to the public.
Changing my shower head made me 10 years younger.
Oh my God.
Water had been ruining my hair for ages. Dry, brittle, but shower and...
Oh, I'm like, I don't remember this video having an ad. So, well, there you go.
Spence is going to bring up this video.
Is he? Is he though? Is he?
If you want to just, I think the link is right there.
It should be somewhere there. I mean, I'm just saying, Elgato, I'm not being paid by them, but I'm just saying Elgato Stream Decks are fantastic, and you can load your own shit and put it, you can call up your own clips, lady. That way you can time it to yourself, like I do with this, little play button I gave myself.
Click on the link on next.
Yeah, see, I can do that all by myself.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
We'll bring this up here in just a second.
Oh, yeah, we will. I'm waiting on it. I feel like you're being attacked by the derp state. I think Elon Musk is still doing Trump favors.
This press conference, by the way, was attended primarily by huge numbers of reporters and media. If you look at the photos of this press conference, just in
Well, yeah. Not a lot of gawkers at the "I was raped" PR campaign beginning, or the push for openness. There aren't a lot of fans of just listening to victims. Shocking.
enormous number of media figures were there covering this. More attendees from the media than the general public, but a lot of eyeballs were on this press conference. I was interested in it. I'm sure that you were interested in it as well, because of things that were said by Epstein victims, such as this woman. If we have this, we can play it. There we go.
And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names.
Also, I'd recommend a longitude and latitude number with each one.
Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you.
Now, this press conference was
Sorry, every time she clicks to just her face on the screen, I keep just hearing, "Let it go, let it go."
highly viewed. A lot of people in the United
Seriously, you're like, it's like if you rolled into Disneyland and you're like, "That's what the princesses look like now." God damn, this place has gone to hell.
States,
She just looks so mean.
and the government, civilians, regular Americans like you and me watched this press conference. We wanted to hear what was said. We wanted to hear if there was new information that was released, and if so, what it was. But my question following this press conference is, if you have a list of the names of people who were associated with Epstein, who committed crimes similar to the crimes that Epstein committed, sexual crimes against underage girls, why aren't you releasing those names?
Because Alan Dershowitz sued Virginia Giuffre, and they don't have access to the information that the government has that will back them up if they are sued by the people that they are talking about. And Donald Trump probably expunged a lot of that evidence when they arrested Jeffrey Epstein the first time. So they don't even know until they get that, until the files are released, they don't know what evidence still remains that they could fight these people with in court. So they could be sued into oblivion even if they're telling the truth. That's why, dumbass.
Today, why stand up at the podium after all this time and claim that you have this information?
They don't claim they have the information. They're talking about the men that objectively attacked them, raped them. They know who they are because they share those names and those acts of violence in common. They didn't find them in a fucking book at his house. But the women who have come forward in the past, namely, Katie's deposition and, of course, Virginia Giuffre's stuff, they get either sued or threatened. That's why.
And yet don't disclose this information. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that's because luckily you're not a victim.
Maybe there's a reason why that I haven't thought of. Maybe there's a process in place. Maybe there are legal implications of accusing someone.
Yeah, you're getting there.
If you don't have evidence, but why don't they stand up and say, this is the name of the person, I was coerced into having sex with him?
Because they can't prove it. Because that's what Virginia Giuffre said about Dershowitz, and he threatened to sue her into oblivion because she didn't have any evidence other than her experience. It was her word against his. And not only was it her word against his, but he was the president's fucking lawyer. Dumbass. God damn.
That was sexual abuse. This is a crime.
Right, and they have no evidence of it, and it happened a long time ago, so it's outside of the statute of limitations, and they're afraid they'll be fucking killed. 4 of the victims are dead.
If that exists, release it publicly. We don't want more white binders. We don't want more promises of information. We want the information.
Sorry, the victims don't owe you shit. Would it be better if it was a world where they could come forward and feel completely safe and be able to tell the truth and stuff? Absolutely. And I wish it was that kind of world, but it ain't right now. And the only people that owe you this shit are the people who promised you this information to get your vote to get into office and who are hiding it from you right fucking now. So don't lay this at the feet of the fucking victims, you dizzy fuck.
This was also the case with the 33,000 pages of Epstein files that were released by House Oversight. The 33,000 pages were given to House Oversight by the Department of Justice, so by Pam Bondi's people. And what?
Oh, the delay when she's like, by Pam Bondi's people, which a year ago her brain had told her she would be going, and Pam Bondi nailed it, and it's so happening, and we're getting everything we want, and Pam Bondi, awesome. And her brain is going, and by Pam Bondi's people, who are the villain in this story? How did this happen? Oh my God, I might be as dumb as everyone always said.
It's in the 33,000 pages. Well, 97% of it is old news. 97% of it is files that have been previously released. The 3%.
Yeah, we know, asshole. And you helped run that cover story. You showed up and went like, look what I got. Hold on. I gotta. 1 second. First of all, I got to do this because this is weird. I don't know why I got signed out of that shit. But then, let's see. Wheeler, binder, Oval Office, something like that. That'll be a picture of this. Yeah, here you go. Bunch of fucking douchebags. By the way, that's the long-haired gay gentleman who worked on getting the Amish vote all over Pennsylvania for Trump. Remember that? That's him. Is that DC Drano or one of these other like anonymous rich pricks who pretends to be a man of the people behind some dipshitty cat turd type name? And there's good old Liz. Look at her. Doing perfect product placement with her Make America Great Again white hat and a black hat and a red hat. They didn't just get binders, people. They got merch. They got a meet and greet. And again, I don't know why this isn't stressed enough, but these motherfuckers didn't walk out of the DOJ. They didn't go meet at Pam Bondi's office. Pam Bondi did not hand these binders to them at her office where the investigation is centered. They did it at the Oval Office. They all went into Trump's office and got this bullshit, which means this is not about Pam Bondi handing them a raft of shit. This is about Trump handing them a raft of shit. That needs to be clear. When anybody talks about this binder thing, that Trump gave them these things in the Oval, along with a bunch of, sucker swag, CSL. Absolutely. Like, here you go, dipshit. Pay for your fucking soul with dippy hats. God damn. Fuck you, lady. Oh, hold on. This is, I don't know why this has to start from the beginning.
The House Oversight
played this to here.
Thought of maybe there's a process in place. Maybe there are legal implications of accusing someone.
Yeah, we saw this part. Sorry.
If that exists, release it publicly.
Okay,
38 is files that have been previously released. The 3% of files that are new are flight logs that are highly redacted. This is not.
Oh, and by the way, highly redacted should just directly translate to mean contains Trump. Like the stuff that's been released has got, you know, a bunch of black magic marker over everywhere Trump is mentioned.
This is not a revelation. This too might as well have been put in a white binder. Now, the reason that House Oversight released these files is because of what Congressman Thomas Massie is doing. You can agree with him or you can disagree with him, but I will.
No, you can't. No. You, Miss Little Binder, Miss John Bullshit Ramsey, if she'd lived, you don't get to disagree with him. He's pushing for the full release of the files. That's what you ran on. That's what you thought you were getting at the White House, according to you. That's what you've been selling to your viewers this entire time. You have been on this tip for fucking years. No, you don't get a choice in this. Other people maybe. You don't. Liz Wheeler, you have to side with Thomas Massie. And anybody who's like, we want to hold back some of this, fuck you.
And I know President Trump strongly disagrees with Thomas Massie, and he's even told the president has told Republicans that if you go along with Thomas Massie, you are committing an act of disloyalty to the president.
No, not disloyalty. That's too soft. He said a hostile act, which in this White House borderline means he thinks he can shoot you on Fifth Avenue or send the fucking National Guard to your house. A hostile act against the sitting president of the United States? Not disloyalty to him. A hostile act towards the administration is the exact quote.
Putting that aside for a second, we'll talk about that in a moment. What Congressman Massie is doing, theoretically, is something that I've been calling for Congress to do for a long time, and that...
Right, which is why you can't disagree with him, dipshit.
...that is get members of Congress on record about everything. Because if you think that members of Congress who are supposed to represent us are not in alignment with how based we are, what we want them to do, it's because they face no accountability for not doing what...
Sorry, fuck you. They. I didn't realize Trump used they, them pronouns. I thought that was some woke DEI shit you guys didn't fly with. They, Trump. Trump is directing all of this. Fish rots from the head. It's, you have to be really clear about this. The only people that aren't releasing shit is because they are protecting Trump, and not because they're doing it organically, but because he has threatened them. If he's telling members of the House that it's a hostile act to ask for the full release of the files, what the fuck do you think he's saying to Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Bongholio? Now, I am not excusing them, because fuck them. That's a hard job. You took it. You do it.
what we want them to do. And one of the ways that they avoid that accountability is they never go on record. They never actually take the hard position. They never actually have to cast a vote on the things that would make their base, their constituents, their donors angry. And what Thomas Massie's doing is what actually should be done on almost every issue, and that is make these members of Congress go on record. So what's going to happen if this discharge petition is actually...
Oh yeah. Sorry, dummy. No, that's not how it works. Right now, the Republicans control Congress not for the power that it gives them to control the purse strings or to actually drive, through leadership and towards an ideology or a plan that they have, whether it's Project 2025 or some Christian conservative family values thing that some of them still believe. It has nothing to do with that. The entire purpose of their power over the House is to hand that to Trump and put their fingers in their ears and wait for the explosion.
If it actually succeeds, if it results in a piece of legislation brought to the floor of the House of Representatives, and that piece of legislation forces members of Congress to vote on whether the Epstein files should be released, this puts members of Congress in a very interesting position.
Oh, no. It does not. It doesn't put members of Congress in a very interesting position. All the Democrats are for the discharge petition. All of them. Every Democrat has signed on to this, directly not as if they haven't co-signed it, they've already agreed to vote for it when it comes up. All of them, every single one. We just flipped 2 seats. Those Democrats, once they're sworn in, will add to the number. They will also sign on to this. They already have said so. Not members of Congress. Fuck off with that nonsense. Republicans solely amongst themselves have a problem. They have control of the House, and only 4 of them want the Epstein files released. 4. And of that 4, only 1 of them is a dude.
They can either listen to their constituents. We obviously want the Epstein files to be released, or...
No, I don't think you do. I also call bullshit on that. I don't think so. I don't think you want them released. I think you want what you have in your head released. You have this fantasy that it's going to be Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and fucking spirit cooking adrenochrome Hillary Clinton or something in there, and it will all tie back to them. You don't want the files released because you want everything except the Trump shit. And I will include, I will add her to this pile. She wants everything except the stuff with Trump in it put out. She would be completely fine if every interaction that he had with Epstein was completely expunged. Everybody else should be in there. Any mention of Trump, she's fine with the redaction. I guarantee it. Even though he's been accused of raping a 13-year-old and a 14-year-old, even though he clearly shared women with Jeffrey Epstein, many of whom had been groomed since they were 14, 15 years old by Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump may have only fucked them when they turned 18 or 17 in the state of Florida or some shit like that, but it wasn't because they were willing participants in this. It's because they've been abused and turned out by this fucking monster to make them susceptible to this. And there was all kinds of threats and cajoling going on in the background, whether they were foreign and he had their passports, or whether he had compromising material on them and like, you're going to go fuck that disgusting orange baboon, or I'm going to show this to your family. That you want the stuff released. Shut up.
They can vote no, and it then looks like they are trying to hide the Epstein files.
I got news for you. They are trying to hide the Epstein files. It doesn't have to look like anything. That's what they're doing. That's what they've been doing. They're doing that right now. Whether before this vote, if it happens, after this vote, when it happens. That's what this is. That's not having this vote immediately, not releasing all this shit immediately, is them trying to hide this shit. Now, why would they do that? If it's full of Democrats, who gives a fuck? If it's full of like billionaires that fund, elections, it's on both sides, who gives a fuck? It'll be like a zero-sum game. They'll have wiped out money on both sides. But if it has stuff in it that makes Trump look like Denny Hastert on steroids, that's a problem. Yeah, Katie Johnson is who I was referring to, yeah. She was 13, 14 years old when he raped her, according to her affidavit and her deposition. She doesn't want this information.
Now, again, that's sort of setting aside President Trump's interaction with Congress and telling Republican members of Congress don't vote for this.
No, you can't. Oh my fucking God. Fuck you, lady. You can't set it aside. You cannot set it aside. You can't go, that part. He threatened members of Congress to lose their entire political careers and God knows what else. I mean, he could literally be threatening them with violence the way he talks over this shit. So no, you can't put it aside. It is central to this whole fucking thing. There's no one else in government, past or present, that has had more of a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein than Donald Trump, including Bill Clinton, including the donor class that he hung out with.
I'm a Republican member of Congress. I vote for this.
Uh-huh. Okay. Cool story, ma'am. What, do you vote for it after you see what's in it? After you've seen some of it? After you've had those behind closed doors look at the evidence? After Pam Bondi shows up at your office and goes, I got to tell you, it looks bad for the president if you get this stuff out, but this looks really bad for you if, you know, considering, I don't know if you know where some of your donor money came from, but it came from this person. I love how everybody's like, the CIA is behind, the CIA is running everything. The CIA is setting everyone up. I'm like, motherfucker, it's Trump and Bondi. They're directly threatening people. They're on the fucking phone. There's nobody from the CIA showing up in a fucking trench coat in an alleyway going, you better watch what files you release, and then disappearing in a puff of fucking smoke. Trump is calling them directly and going, don't you fucking dare.
You don't vote no on this. You can like the president, you can support the president, you can respect the president. You know I do.
Well, he and this that sums her entire experience up. After it comes out, after it all comes out, you won't. I've said this several times, and it bears repeating. And everybody needs to hammer this as hard as they can anytime this conversation comes up. No matter what damage hiding the Epstein files does to his relationship with his base, with MAGA, with Congress, with his donors, with, you know, his friends, to his fucking marriage, no matter what damage it does, not releasing the files, releasing them is worse. As fucked up as all this is, as rage-filled and disappointed and like as Vinny as everybody gets, veins in their fucking foreheads. Where's the files? Why are we being cheated? This is bullshit. I'm not voting next year. He's not running in 2028, you dumb motherfuckers. He's bagging out. He's gonna move to a fucking one of those palm tree islands in Saudi Arabia and play golf for the rest of his life. He's not worried about you anymore. He doesn't give a fuck about you anymore. But what he does know is whatever people do about him, if somebody takes another shot at him, if all of the MAGA decides fuck Donald Trump and they show up and are screaming at him, whatever that is, no matter how bad it is, the files are worse. Do you understand that? Think of the damage that is being done hiding these files. And the only reason to hold them back is that the truth is worse. Now, if I may, what's going on in the chat room about TYT? They've got Marjorie Taylor Greene on today. Fucking hell. There is no bottom, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and let's see. Justice. Oh dear. Okay, and then this. Yeah, I have to say though, the Streisand effect is real. There's people are already comparing his signature, which, by the way, I got like the people going, that's not even a signature, it's fucking fake. When he signs personal letters, he puts Donald instead of Donald J. Trump and does his fucking jaggedy fucked up thing, right? The idea that if you're saying the deep state made it up, your argument is not the signature doesn't even look like his. Your argument is they copied it directly. That's a forgery. And you go for it's like the greatest forgery ever. Of course they would have the best forgeries or whatever the fuck, right? Let's see. What's this one? Oh. Jeffrey showing early talents with money and women sells fully depreciated girl to Donald Trump for $22,500. Showed early people skills too. Even though I handled the deal, I didn't get any of the money or the girl. What the fuck is that? Hold on. Yikes. Scroll it. Okay, this is Wall Street. Okay, this is the Wall Street Journal with a giant novelty check implying Trump sold him a woman for $22,000. The Epstein estate also turned over another letter from the book that references Trump. It came from businessman and longtime Mar-a-Lago member Joel Pashkow, who made a crude joke about a woman that Trump and Epstein socialized with in the 90s, according to people familiar with the matter. The Pashkow letter included a photo of a poster board-sized check for $22,500, which had been mocked up to appear that it was sent from Trump to Epstein. Beneath it, a handwritten caption said, "Jeffrey showing early talents with money and plus women, sells fully depreciated girl's name to Donald Trump for $22,500. The woman's name is redacted in the image. Pashkow and his attorney didn't respond to requests for comment. A lawyer for the woman said she doesn't know Pashkow and has no knowledge of the letter naming her, which the lawyer called a disgusting and deeply disturbing hoax. Trump was listed under the Friends section in the book's table of contents, along with Clinton and about 20 other associates. The Journal reported Trump and Epstein socialized in the 90s, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And that's this, or whatever. This guy put, that was that guy's joke that was in the book. This guy, yeah. So there's Trump paying to Jeffrey Epstein $22,500 for this girl. Is that Epstein right there, or is that a guy dressed like him? But the girl in the photo has said that's not her, or that it didn't happen, or whatever. That she doesn't remember that conversation. Okay, hold on. Fuck, that's gross. The guy, hey, Liz Wheeler, that's the guy that's gonna, save all the children from human trafficking. The guy where there's like fucking jokes in this thing about how Trump sold people. And then, of course, well, I want to do this. Like, the audio on this is so jerky. Johnson, Trump, FBI informant. So this is, I wish the audio was louder on this. Okay. This is a little louder, I think, than the other ones I've seen.
What do you mean by that? What I was referring to in that long conversation was what the victim's attorney said. More than a decade ago, President Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, and he was one of the only prominent people, as everyone has reported, not President Trump, but everybody about him, that he was willing to help law enforcement go after this guy who was a disgusting child abuser, sex trafficker, all the allegations. That's what they heard. So the president was helpful in that. I don't know if I use the right terminology, but that's common knowledge, and everybody knows that. So.
Okay. It's common knowledge, and everybody knows that. Okay, first of all, no, it isn't. It's not common knowledge. He didn't help law enforcement. The victim's attorney wanted to depose him. Trump voluntarily spoke to this guy so that he wouldn't be under oath. He's like, call me anytime, I'll tell you whatever you want to know, but he wouldn't go on the record. He meant, don't depose me, I'll just talk to you. Because he didn't have to be under oath, and they didn't film it. For fuck's sake. So, and then this, I didn't know the terminology. This is what he was talking about.
Did as a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago.
When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. That's a lie. Not only is it a lie, even based on the past stories, of he kicked him out because he was hitting on somebody there, but Trump has buried that one like he was poaching employees. It wasn't even that he gave a shit that he was fucking them. He just did. He was like, I was looking at her. Like, I had her around to do inappropriate things for her age. And then he took her. Like, it wasn't that he found out he was a fucking creep. He was busy creeping on these girls, and Trump was mad that Epstein was taking the ones that looked like Ivanka. That's what that is. Bullshit. He didn't kick him out for being a creep as soon as he heard the rumor. Good Lord. Sorry. You're friends with Jeffrey Epstein from 1986, and there's no rumors during that entire time. You guys are partying all the fucking time. He's got underage girls on your fucking plane. Shut the fuck up.
FBI informant to try to take the...
Okay, and I have to back this up. He was an FBI informant.
Evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try...
He was an FBI informant. No, he was not. He wasn't even an informant for the police. He gave information to the lawyer so that he wouldn't be deposed. That's it. And if anything comes out, if there are phone records of any of this shit, what you're going to find out is that after Trump tried to buy that property that he was jockeying with Epstein, they were both fighting over this piece of property that was eventually bought by that Russian oligarch who bulldozed the fucking place and sold it, paid, Trump, I think Trump paid $41 million for it, and the guy paid him $90 million, and then just knocked it down because it was just about money laundering and feeding Trump money because they didn't give a shit. It was Putin money through this guy. After that happened, Epstein is going, wait a minute, Trump's broke. Where the fuck did he get $41 million? And so Epstein, the irony of ironies, started looking into the legality of Trump's money and started questioning whether he had gotten it through ill-gotten means. Right? And so Trump gets wind of this, that Epstein's sniffing around his finances and dry snitches on him. Calls the authorities. My name's John Barron, and that Epstein cat, he's doing some funky stuff. And then, because he knows there's evidence of him hanging out with Epstein, he knows Epstein blackmails people, he's aware of that there's cameras in the bedrooms and all that kind of stuff. He calls Jeffrey Epstein and goes, Jeff, I know we've had some problems, but the cops are onto you. You might want to start burning videos. How did Mike walk it back on camera via tweet? They did an official statement, and then he came out and did that first video that I just showed you, this one right here. He's like, I know what you're going to want to talk to me about. That's what he's talking about.
What do you mean by that? What I was referring to in that long conversation.
In that long conversation where sometimes when you're talking a lot, like words get out, like, I don't know, you're just kind of you're rolling around and people are discussing what kind of dogs they have, and then you just bring up the subject of peanut butter on your balls and you're like, what did I even say? It's one of those moments where you accidentally out yourself as being completely skeevy and full of shit. That's like, it was a long conversation. It wasn't long. It was a fucking 5-minute run of words in about 30 seconds. Like, he sounded like an ad for Adderall.
Was what the victim's attorney said.
No, the victim's attorneys did not say that Trump was an informant for the police. The victim's attorney said I called him up. I was going to depose him. He said, I'll talk to you anytime you want to get out of being deposed. And let's be really clear. Trump, who was a running buddy of Epstein's, who knew everything about his inner workings, gave him a free, by all measures, membership to his club where allegedly he was poaching children to fuck from his properties. Never ended up being video deposed about the crimes committed at that guy's house or on his own property. For real? That's what you're going with. That there was that the attorneys for the victims or the prosecutor never deposed Donald Trump, businessman, before he was running for office about this shit? You're kidding, right?
More than a decade ago, President Trump kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. His membership was still good for 2 years after that, after he'd been arrested. He came there after when he was on work release.
One of the only prominent people, as everyone has reported, not President Trump, but everybody about him, that he was willing to help law enforcement go after this guy who was a disgusting child abuser, sex trafficker, all the allegations. That's what they heard. So the president was helpful in that. I don't know if I used
Nope.
the right terminology, but
I don't know if I use the right terminology. FBI informant, helpful. Yeah, one would be that if you're an FBI informant, you have to tell them the truth or whatever evidence they have against you that they're not using to put you in jail because you're giving them information about someone who's more violent or terrible. If you lie to them, you could go to jail and they will just go, fuck this, and you'll stop being an informant and be prisoner 7159725, right? So yeah, it does. It's not a or whatever.
that's common knowledge and everybody knows that. So
Bullshit. What's common is that everyone knows this is nonsense.
this is much
Yeah. Excellent point.
This is some bullshit. We see through it. This is some bullshit. Can't undo it. Say it loud. We won't quit. This is some bullshit.
Bullshit. So, fuck right off Mike Johnson and your cheesy, weak fucking lie. Oh, thanks. Yeah, this is, I got this like a few weeks ago, or about a couple months ago, actually now. I think it was a Father's Day gift, actually, which is very appropriate, knowing my family and everybody around me.